Hi, everybody. Welcome to Horse Center. Tonight, Shawn and I are going to start the show. We had a little bit of a difficult time connecting up with Chantal Sutherland. She's expected to join us a little bit later on in the show. So we're going to put things upside down today. Well, don't the kids play Upside Down Day on Tuesdays anyway, Shawn? Is that the day for Upside Down Day?
I guess so. I've never heard that, but works fine for me.
Well, why don't you ask Blake, what day is Upside Down Day? He probably knows.
He didn't learn that yet.
He hasn't learned Upside Down Day yet. All right, so we're going to start with the news. And then when Chantal shows up in the window below, we'll bring her in and see what she's up to these days. So the first news of the day, Shawn, where do you want to start today? Well, since we started the show yesterday with people hitting people, right? Yeah, with Will Smith hitting Chris Rock. All right. Even though now they're trying to make it look really real. So Much Dettori over at the Dubai World Cup gets cracked for $13,600 for using the whip to excess to bring country grammar home. Do you feel like that takes away from the win, or you would just whip him as many times as you needed to if you get across that finish line?
See, and that would be my problem with this is, okay, he obviously still made out really good. So I kind of don't like the fact that they find him afterwards and there's no punishment to the result. You know, it's kind of like a race where you're driving an illegal car and you get punished, fine, but you still made out a ton of money. So, I don't really like how they do this.
Well, he said they hit him 13 times. Is there like a rule in Dubai as to how many times you can hit him? So I'm sure hitting him 13 times. Was the rule 11? Is the rule? I don't know what the rule is. I wish they would have put the rule out there. If anybody knows the Dubai whip rules on the track, of course, let us know what those rules are.
Yeah, I don't know them as well. But
that's the other thing. Is it one of those things because it says that the rule says for using the whip to excess. So if the rule is to excess, is that just a subjective term that somebody watching the race says, well, he only really needed to hit him 12 times?
Well, some of these tracks too, I believe they have so many that you can hit at certain spots too.
And I guess underhanded and overhanded too is another different.
Yeah, so there's so many, and if they didn't say anything in the article, I do not know the rules. So on that, there's so many tracks, so many different rules, and Dubai is not a track that we normally keep up with. So.
Now, Mike Smith got hit at the Saudi Cup doing the same thing, right? Or was it the Dubai World? I think it was the Saudi Cup. I read that Mike got a fine for that and had a whole big stink over that one because he felt he didn't. And I get a feeling that based on the verbiage where it says that in excess and there's not like a firm, fast number, that is something that's completely at the discretion of the folks who are regulating the races, so to speak. So we're going to go from one group of regulators that apparently don't have a set of I don't know what you want to call it, but where they have a set of rules or are able to make up their mind or clear thinking, maybe is a better word. We talked about Georgia a couple times and how the horse racing's on, horse racing's off. Then they had some like special, you have to get it done. So Mike says he thinks 12 is the max. So for one extra whack, yeah. I would argue that I didn't hit him on the other one. I just made him think I was going to hit him. Right?
Yeah, that's an expensive fine for that one extra hit. And then the word excessive would really not excessive if it was one more.
Yeah, well, I guess one more is excessive. Apparently, it's exponential, like the Richter scale, where each one is 100 times more impactful than the previous one. I don't know. I mean, I think you can get anticipation out of my dog. And dog is not a good example, maybe, but it is another animal. I play with my dog. And sometimes I can play a little rough with my dog. She likes it, though. She likes to play rough, too, because they want to play, especially when they're younger. And a lot of times I'll give her like a little whack. And when I'm going to whack her, I'll see she tenses her muscles whether I whack her or not. So I'm sure if you show the horse the whip, it knows it's coming, and he probably reacts to the whip without it actually being whipped. So I would just say, I faked it.
Yeah, and there are some jockeys that know their horses that actually works, that they don't have to actually whip them. They just have to show them enough. Yeah, so.
The placebo effect with the whip, Shawn. So maybe we could take the placebo whip, hand it to Will Smith, and he can head down to Georgia And he can talk to these Georgia house folks down here, because first they've gone from it's not legal to it's going to be legal to it's not going to be legal to we're at a midnight session to guess what? Now they're going to put a referendum out to the folks in the state of Georgia. So if you live in Georgia, you plan on vacationing in Georgia, or in any way, shape, or form concerned about Georgian horse racing, make sure you tell your friends, family, or if you live there and you want to bet on horses, that you head to the polls in November and vote for the horse racing bill, or vote against it, depending upon how you stand.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this keeps coming up, and one of these times it passes, and there's racing in Georgia.
So, which brings me to another, because I said vote for it if you're for it or against it. We're thinking about bringing on, and I'm curious to what the folks who watch would think of this, or would they be interested in this. But you go on horse racing Twitter, and there's always a person or two in there, or 3 or 5, with the horse racing sucks tweets, right? The anti, the animal rights people. And, I respect them. Everybody has a right to their opinion in our country. This is not one of those places, at least not yet, where you get locked up for having a differentiating view. So we were thinking about bringing one of those horse racing sucks from the Twitter universe on the show, and basically walking through why we make our case, why we think horse racing is legit, why it doesn't suck, and then let them make their case and have a debate. And then, so if you guys think that would be a good idea, let us know, because I'm all for it. I'll make sure that I'm equipped with all the facts, because emotional arguments, according to King Solomon, are the domain of fools, and I shall not be foolish, Shawn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think it'd be, as long as we can find somebody exactly like us, that it's, just a debate and doesn't turn into an ugly argument, then yeah, it would be a fun show, and we can see each other's side and talk it out. I really think some of those people need to go to the track and see how the horses are treated on race day and everything.
I'm a brave soul. Yeah, it's just words. Words can't hurt, right? You can't reason with stupid. Well, I remember that when the guy said that from the what was it called, with the hurricane down in Louisiana, when they had that general on, and he was like, and they were talking to him, and he's saying people were stuck on stupid and that you can't fix stupid. I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment, right?
Yeah.
As Forrest Gump once said, what did he say? Stupid is as stupid does, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
like my motto. Whenever I do something wrong, I always say, stupid is as rich does. So sometimes I make the stupidest mistakes, and then when I go back and I look like, why in the hell did I do that? Do
you say it in the Forrest Gump voice though?
No. I can you do Forrest Gump voice?
No, I can't. But I was just, for a fact, you got to do it in the Forrest Gump voice.
Well, I don't know if I can do that. So another horse that's going to run like Forrest Gump, run, White Abarrio, run, White Abarrio. There's a lot of good segues today, almost like we wrote this out. But we can tell you that nothing, Shawn, we come to this completely unprepared.
100%. The only thing that's scripted is 8:00 Eastern and our guest. That's about it.
Yes. Well, I have an idea of the questions I want to ask, and then once the questions start rolling based upon the response from our guest, I can then kind of take that whatever path.
But 90% of the time, I don't know the questions you're going to ask, and you don't know the questions I'm going to ask. So we're just.
I have no idea what you're going to ask. I'm not listening when you talk anyway. So this is interesting. I did not know that this horse exists.
What?
Somebody missed a letter in the headline. I mean, if you're going to make a mistake, it can't be in the headline, can it?
Geez.
Right?
Yeah.
So White Abarrio is going to run at Gulfstream Park. And then speaking of, in the Florida Derby, speaking of running at Gulfstream, our guest is with us now, Chantal Sutherland. So let me bring her up on the screen. Hopefully all things are well. Hi, Chantal. How are you this evening?
How are you?
Good. Good to have you back. Last time you were here, we kicked a little bit of a hornet's nest, had a little bit of controversy. So I was wondering what kind of hornet's nest we could kick this evening. So were you kind of surprised about some of the aftermath of talking about the fact that jockeys communicate on the track?
No, I kind of thought, it was okay. I thought people reacted how they did. And some were pretty nice after we had that talk. I thought it was better.
So after we had the talk, you were able to communicate with Pablo afterwards, or is that what you're referring to, or no?
Pablo or Paco?
Paco, yes. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Yes, Paco.
No, I don't talk to Paco.
No. Okay, so that hasn't changed. So
No.
speaking of talking, you're going to be doing a show, A Day in the Life of Chantal, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. I see here on the video you're messing with the Ready, Set, Go on your Twitter feed. What's that all about?
So it's actually started off with Gulfstream, and they did a kind of like a day in the life of following me around and what it's like my day. And then this company, Digital Productions, they wanted to do their own thing. So they did a little bit of their own thing, but also I think that interview was just a recap and to close off the whole day in the life of Chantal. I think that's coming out maybe in 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Where would people be able to watch that at?
I don't even know myself, but I'm pretty sure it has to be on the Gulfstream website or something. It's totally Gulfstream did it. And I did an interview with Arcacia after, just sort of talking about some other things. I'm not really sure what they're doing. They are filming other jockeys too. So I don't really know when it's going to come out, or they just kind of asked us for our time.
I see. So I'm sure you'll post that up on your social site when that comes
Yes,
out and you
I
have
will,
access
for
to
sure.
it. And
Yeah.
people can follow that at Jockey Chantal on Twitter. I'm sure Shawn can give us the Facebook stuff as well. So I think it was last Wednesday. I was watching the race at Gulfstream Park. I think it was the third race last Wednesday. I had never seen this before, but I mean, obviously by now you've seen the thing with the flamingo and the swan. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
Crazy.
Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I've seen animals, come on the track before, birds, especially in Canada geese. But I think that both birds were okay, right? They just missed them.
No, I think they rolled over both of them pretty well.
Yeah.
Because they were gone when the horses came back around. They said they flew off.
Oh, did they flew off? I never seen
they
anything
said,
like that.
It was crazy because that one bird, the flamingo, looked like he just passed out, like he fell down.
And then he got back up. So
Yeah,
if you're on a horse,
it did look like they went over him, but they just missed him.
So it's like the scene in the movie Pulp Fiction with Samuel Jackson and all the bullets. If you remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
Where he's standing there, there's 50,000 bullets and not one of them hits him. It's like, it's anyway, I was going to say, like being in my neighborhood when the people are shooting at each other and they miss, they only hit other people, which is unfortunately sad.
Amazingly, though, the horses didn't freak out or spook.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Have you ever been, I mean, I would think that situation can be very dangerous.
Super dangerous. I had a horse, one of the jockeys in front of me. He was a younger jockey, inexperienced, and he went to hit his horse, but he missed, and he fell off. And when he fell off, my horse spooked at him and ducked, and then I fell off.
Huh. Yeah. Yes, when I saw that, I was thinking about that for a minute. I was thinking, well, that kind of makes sense. They're in Florida. They're flamingos, they're swans. So, I mean, I've never seen it in 40 years of watching horse racing. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe I never saw it before because maybe they have like some kind of like high-pitched sound or something when you're running that keeps the animals away. But then obviously that's not the truth there. So
no, but that's interesting. I wonder if that would actually work. I know in Canada they have sometimes in some tracks they'll have a dog that will chase the geese, or they just the outrider does it.
So when something like that happens and when you're on the front, you think the natural inclination would be like when you're driving, if a squirrel goes across the road, we go through, we'll hit a tree before we hit a squirrel.
Yeah.
But do you think that with the jockeys knowing there's other riders coming, that the instinct kicks in?
You know what? It's so fast that by the time they saw it, they're already going over top of it. Like even myself, when I've had a horse going to spill in front of me, you think you can turn and maneuver. No, you just go right. There's nothing to do. You just kind of, it's almost like you're on a train. There's no steer. As much as we steer in a race, when that happens, there's just like you're going straight so fast. It's hard to maneuver around that kind of stuff.
I can imagine. How you doing tonight, Shawn?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chantal?
Very good. Good to see you again.
You too. I asked the question because you are really influential in the female jockey world. Who has been the most influential female jockey? So taking you out of it, who do you think has been the most influential jockey in the sport?
I think Emma Jane Wilson does a lot of good things. I mean, clearly Julie Crone did a lot. Like she was amazing. Rosina Pravic did a lot of cool stuff. Right now, I'm not really sure if anyone's like, I don't know. Do you know?
Well, there's a lot of young females coming up too, and they've been winning all over. And we've actually talked about that. Talk about the couple you have at Gulfstream.
Yeah, Emma Norden from Sweden. She's very talented, I think. She hasn't been able to ride much because she's working on her paper. She had to go back to Sweden. She's going to come back, but that's in the process. I really like her. I like Olivier Pellier's daughter, Megan Pellier. Unfortunately, her first race out here for Safi Joseph, the saddle slipped. So it was unfortunate. I think she did a great job considering the situation she was in. I think she's going to be surprisingly a really unique style rider. She's got that European and the American both combined. I like her style. I haven't seen too much of her riding. She's got a great personality. And the other one I like is Elsa. She won 2 the other day on Sunday, I think, right? Super nice girl, very sweet. We had a bit of a altercation only because I was on the horse Doc Amster and she came out of the gate and wasn't able to correct her horse, and it took me out of the race pretty much. I was 8-5 that day, so I was a little upset, but she's learning, she's an apprentice, it happens. But she's really open to working on stuff, and I find her very, very sweet person, very nice girl, and I think she's got some talent too.
Do you still deal with some of that? I mean, we've come a long way with female jockeys. Do you still deal with some of that, you think, of being a female and having to work that much harder than a guy? Or okay, yeah. So there's a backstory to this.
Wait. There's a lot to that. There's a lot to the story with that face that she made. So can you kind of give us some color on that? Well, like I said, we're going to kick the hornet's nest again.
If I was a guy, you just have the opportunities come faster and better. She's it's just totally different. Like there's, you still have the stigmatism. Some guys think, girls aren't as strong, they can't ride as well, which is not the case at all, in my opinion. Every jockey has their own thing. There's a ton of guy riders that aren't, strong or not great, but there's so many, they get, overshadowed by all the great ones. And it just happens that there's not a lot of female jockeys and, even less really good ones. I know I deal with it every day. Being a minority, whether just being a white female, not speaking Spanish, you got there's some struggles.
I will say on social media, there was only one guy today that he started a whole thing saying that there aren't any women good jockeys, which is totally false. There's a ton coming up. And also that women don't work as hard as guys. And I say this because we have come a long way, because you wouldn't believe how many guys, there was only one guy that commented on this. Every other guy, including me, went at him the other way and said, actually, it's probably the other way. Women work that much harder because of exactly what you said.
Yeah, I think women work really hard. There's a lot of men that work really hard too. But, we're trying to make it in a male-dominated sport. So we have to have some, oil on our feathers for that. But then I see a TV show once, they said, why do you hire so many women to work for you? Because they eat less and they work harder. And as far as I think there's some new younger jockeys coming up, females, in England, right? And there's one in isn't there a Japanese girl that's really awesome?
I'm not familiar.
There's some new international.
There's a lot of young. There's definitely a lot of young female jockeys coming on this, all across the planet. When that person Shawn emailed it to me, texted me, goes, "Look at this Yahoo." I agree with what your friend Emma told you a long time ago, and I've kind of lived my life like that the entire life. I don't think lions concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. Yes, I've always been
Yeah.
like that. What? Who are you? And even though I'm nothing, but I've always felt like that. It's not true. It's not true. Move on. Right. That's it. Who are you to influence my life?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Good. You had more to
I
say?
can let my dog out. Sorry.
okay. Dog has to go. My dog does the same thing when it starts crying when it wants to go outside, right?
And you just
Especially
leave
when it
it,
has to.
you just leave it cry till the show's over, right?
Nah, not really. She goes. She just goes to sleep out there. So, so I'm watching your races, Chantal, down there at Gulfstream Park. Would you say that you have more success on horses that get to the front, or a little bit more speed? Does that fit your style a little bit better, or is that just American racing now? I noticed a lot of times when you're hitting the winner's circle, you're close to the front.
I think that the dirt carries here, and you have to really break well and be forwardly placed within the top 3, or you're not going to get a piece of it. It's pretty rare when you're coming off the pace on the dirt, for sure. It's just that track carries speed so well. Then the Tapeta, it changes day to day. With the rain, cooler, windy, it's more forwardly placed. When it's really hot, it's off the pace. So that changes. I think I've learned a lot from California racing, and being here that you got to be really out of the gate is like so instrumental for your success on the dirt and even the poly track, just getting position. But yeah, I mean, I love being on lead because I think I can, I know my pace pretty well. So if I get to the front, I can kind of cat and mouse it pretty well. And I'm confident in that. And I feel really comfortable on the lead. I actually prefer it. I love it. I'd rather them chase me because I know how much I have left in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great place to be. I like to control the race, control things.
Let's see, what else was I going to ask? As far as the Tapeta, yesterday we had Willie Martinez on, and he said something to me that was kind of, I never even thought about, but he said, we were talking about the communication and stuff like that, and he said it was even more important on the Tapeta because on the grass, he said, and on the dirt, and to a lesser degree, but still on the grass, you can hear the horses. So, but you can't hear them on the synthetic. What's your experience been with that?
Yeah, when you're on the front end, you can't really hear them behind you. And you don't see the shadows the same either on the Tapeta. For me, when I'm on the turf course, I kind of glance to see where the shadows are because that will let me know how far back they are. Because you don't want to be looking around too much. And I made a mistake the other day. I was following Emma. I knew I had her measured. We had opened up 3 on the field, and I looked underneath my legs, between my legs to see. And I think Irad saw me, and he gunned for me. And then he kind of surprised me on the turn, got in front of me, shaved me a little bit. I had to check, go around him, and then I almost won, and I got nailed by Jose. So, when you let people know, you're looking, they know you're loaded with horse. So you're looking to see when do I need to make my move. So if you can't look, if you don't look, it's better. So that's why I look for the shadows. So that would be interesting to say that you can hear the horses on the dirt. You can hear them a little on the turf, but yeah, you don't really hear them on the Tapeta.
Was that the first time you ran around on synthetic and you couldn't hear them? Was that like a weird experience? Man, there's something different about this, and maybe you couldn't put your finger on it, but afterwards you thought about it?
Yeah, no. Most races, surprisingly, it's very quiet out there. Very quiet. You can hear horses breathing a little bit. You can hear talking like we're talking. If someone screams, it's whoa, it's pretty loud.
So the horses talk to each other while you're running?
No. I mean, if other jockeys talk to each other, or you'll hear a guy scream hey, you're coming over. Hey, I'm inside. I got one inside. If they yell, that's pretty loud. If we talk at this level, you would hear them talk. If you wanted to say something without anyone hearing you, you'd probably have to really kind of whisper it. It's pretty quiet out there.
How hard is it when you're on the lead to know, okay, I got this one measured, I can ease up a little bit, or I got to keep whipping if you can't really hear them on the synthetic? Because we see it all the time too, where sometimes jockeys look back and then they get caught.
Yeah, I think for me, I just know when you get to the quarter pole, no matter what, you got to start opening up, hand riding, and then at the end, if you need your whip or crop, use it. But if you can see the Jumbotron, then you can see that they're not close to you, or if they're close to you, that's what I kind of check for. But not being able to hear them, you they're there. Like, if I'm getting to the quarter pole and still no one's come and attested me, they're right. They're getting pretty close. Like, they're going to be right there. You kind of have a sense.
Do you like riding on the Tapeta, specifically Gulfstreams?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
It's I confidently feel like it's not as dangerous. Like, I feel like the horse is forgiving to them, and I like that it's not so speedy. Like, you can rate a horse, you can study, and it's more of a heady type race. I like it. I like that surface, and you don't get kicked back in your face. It's nice.
The JW says, why do you feel Gulfstream stewards let jockeys bump into each other out of the gate? Is that pretty normal stuff because the horses don't really come out straight, or?
It's absolutely asinine.
There's a lot of more bumping than you would like.
I don't know. Honestly, I would have to tell you that I got 3-day suspension for coming out of the gate. They felt that I bothered Louis Saez. He went on to win the race, and they gave me 3 days, and I really don't see how they could have given me 3 days. I got actually mashed up by the other horses, and this horse that I was on had a bad history of like breaking bad. He kind of broke out. I corrected him, and then I got slammed from the inside. Anyway, long story short, I finished nowhere in the race, never interrupted anyone's finishing. And then for the apprentice girl, Elsa, the other day, they didn't even call her in to have meetings or to even have video review, which she's an apprentice. They should have it anyway, and communicate, and nothing. So I can tell you that I am lost when it comes to the stewards here.
I believe you're talking about the one Sunday when she won her first race, because I actually had her and needed that horse to win, but I was holding my breath. I thought there would be an objection when she just made her own room to coming down the stretch.
Oh, yes, I saw that. That wasn't too bad, you think? I thought she...
Well, I thought there should have at least been an objection, or they should have at least looked at it.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
I mean, the horse was completely loaded and the horse was going to win, but she definitely just made
You're right.
She definitely just made her own room, and... I
see a lot of jockeys that regularly make their own
room.
room.
I need to get out of here. Mm-hmm. But she could have just waited a little longer. She would have got through anyway. But yeah, I mean, they should probably have talked to her about it and did videos to communicate with her.
Mm-hmm. So, but I see some jockeys who regularly find their way in the path of other horses. They just do it a little bit more discreetly than just slam right into another one. It's you see, almost always you see, and I'm sure, and we learned this from Tony Black, but you almost always see if the horse is in one lane and the horse is coming to the outside, long before that horse gets there, the horse that's on the lead is going to move out to discourage the horse to its outside. Doesn't necessarily create a bump, but they certainly are letting the other horse know that they're coming over. You also see, like you mentioned, maybe people getting shaved where a horse is on the outside and it starts to creep in a little bit to maybe make the horse a little bit more uncomfortable with the rail. But I see a lot of that sort of, since Tony's brought it up when I'm watching the races, I see a lot of that strategic movement before there's contact. Is that a fair viewing of how some of the races are run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I thought, well, Shawn and I were watching we won't mention who, but anyway. And I said, well, that's the first time he did it. And then the second time it happened again. I said, the third time it happened in the same meet. I said, it ain't a coincidence. That's that person's riding style anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
a pretty good idea who you're talking about.
Do you? Let's see. When we're done, you can email Shawn and Lenwin. I'll know if that's true or not. So other than yourself, who's been the top jockey during this current meet? Would you say, considering, I'm going to say Jose because he hasn't been there as long as everybody else and he's piling up wins.
Jose
Ortiz.
Okay. This is my opinion of Jose and Irad. Jose is calm, cool, collected, never getting himself in trouble, just like going through the motions, just always steady, consistent. And then I watch Irad, and a brilliant rider, but like does things and you're like, ooh, you didn't need to do that. Like he's on so much steam that it's better to play it safe than have these inquiry. Oh, is he going to take him down? Oh, he kind of came over, and I feel like he really, I would play more safe if I was in his position, but I'm not. I just think that when I watch Jose, he's just so calm, and it's always, you get the same guy, same, cool, stays everybody's way, and he wins, and his brother gets days and things happen. I think Irad's younger, or Jose's older, or like, is Jose older or Jose's younger?
I think Irad is the older one. I'm not 100%
Irad's
sure.
the older one. I thought that too. Somebody told me Irad's younger. I'm like,
I don't know. Irad, I think, because Claudia Spadaro, who's down there, she said they're both the same age, she and Irad, and I think she said she's 29 or 30. So that's about how old Irad is. I don't know how old Jose is, but he certainly looks like he's a lot younger than 30 years old. He looks like a kid.
Yeah, I want to say Jose's a couple years younger, 2 or 3 younger than Irad is what I want to say. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
They're both super nice guys. It's just maybe because Jose's married. I guess they're both married. They have kids. He seems more mature, more calm about it. But I don't know Irad very well, just from watching more racing. But a phenomenal rider, both of them. But Jose, I would have to say, he had a great meet. That was impressive. Another rider that everyone kind of doesn't really talk about is Miguel Vasquez. That guy is just plugs, his agent puts him on every horse, and the kid just rides, and he works hard in the morning, never complains, and just that guy is a machine. He works and works and works. So I would say quietly he's had a really, really amazing meet. And Luis Saez had a great meet, of course. And then Junior Alvarado, he did really well. I think so well that he's staying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
So you mentioned the Jumbotron, using it to your benefit in the race. JW says, does the new big Jumbotron affect the horses at Gulfstream?
Yeah, I don't think they see it. They may see it, some of them. I had one on the Tapeta course. Her name was Barbara. She bolted. I don't know if she saw that, but that was when they were putting the Jumbotron in, or there was a lot of tractors that day, and they're still working on it as we were racing. And she saw something and kind of bolted with me. But for the most part, they don't really notice it. But I do like to use it because, of course, you're only allowed to use your crop so many times. And, if a horse is already running for you and trying, you rather just not use your crop at all and just sort of, wave it at them. So when you can see the Jumbotron how far back there, it's kind of like, whew, I got this. We're
you don't
good.
have to use it, right? It's like we see the football players looking up while they're running. Yay. Yeah. Sean, you had something to say? Go ahead.
Miguel Vasquez, he's the type. I bet blindly now with him, even 15 to 1, 20 to 1 horses. Yeah. He's always getting second or third.
So we got a little bit of a guest there with Blake. So Robert Bryan wants to know as well. Do the stewards, you had mentioned that they had that one race where the stewards didn't call the apprentice in. Is it a practice there to call them in and educate them, or is it just kind of random? How does that work?
They should. Well, they have to go to every video. Like if anyone had an altercation in a race and they have videos, they have to go to films, every single film. Like the rest of us don't, unless we're the ones called in. But she has due diligence, and she's expected to go, all the apprentices, to go every time they have videos, just to learn and see what's going on, get the input. It's a great experience for them to see how the stewards handle the jockeys, how the jockeys handle the stewards. I think it's good. You can never have too much information, right?
No, that's absolutely 100% for sure. Now, you had mentioned that the one girl had to go back and write a paper. Was that for horse racing? Did she have to write a paper? Is it like something jockeys have to do?
She has to get her documentation to be a legal citizen to make money here. Right now, she's riding pretty much for free.
So she's got to get the visa and all that kind of stuff. What's up, Sean? Before you were interrupted?
Yeah, it's okay. The other question I had, where did I have a trainer that you ride a lot for, Jorge Delgado, on Monday, April 11th? Can you tell us more about him?
He's a very talented young trainer, up and coming. I think I can say honestly that I've ridden for almost everybody. and I've never seen anyone this young, this talented. My goal as a jockey and being a female jockey in a new place, you kind of want to find a trainer that's open to using women, that actually can win races and is very good, and that is you can build a relationship, have a connection with. So it has been working with him. We have a great percentage together, and once I have that one, then I work my way to another trainer has the same, and you kind of build around these kind of trainers, and then you have business. So I've been working very hard for him, and working a lot of horses in the morning, and then my agent and I, there's a couple other trainers that I like that I think that are really open to me, and now we start building. I was only here, it's now March, it's been a year, but I've only been riding, so I started April, 9-10 months. So now I start doing the same thing with some other key trainers, and then just build from there. But he is getting back to George Delgado, really an amazing horseman, super highly, he has a lot of integrity, and really nice person. Like you guys would, when you guys have the interview, you're gonna like him a lot. He's
Awesome.
just a cool guy, and very open to any question. Like he has no chip on his shoulder, and will tell you so much about the horses. Like he really is in tune to like how they're feeling, how this horse came back. Like that day Doc Amster came back, I went by the barn to check on the horse and try and give him mints, but he was very angry. The horse, he's pissed off. Didn't want me in his stall. He didn't want the mints, and he loves mints. And just like, sort of kicking at the floor. He was hot and like bothered. And I was like, how's he doing? And he said, he's upset. And so they walked him around, and he seemed a little kind of off. Like, he got rocked by two 1,200-pound, athletes, and he just was a little dizzy and just not himself. And so he stayed at the barn. I think I left, but I know that he said that he stayed at the barn for like 3 or 4 more hours just to watch him, make sure he didn't colic or anything. Because, I'm sure we don't realize how much they get, like he got banged, from the left, and then he got nailed from the right. So it was kind of like, he got his head probably rocked around,
Got hit a
So
little
anyway,
bit.
getting back to that, I just think he takes the time. He really wants it. Like it's a young guy who wants to be the best, and surround yourself with great people, and good things happen.
That's what they say, right? Show me your friends, I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
So Tim G says, at this meet, which horse was your favorite to ride?
Wow, I had a couple. Trapezoid has been so much fun. He's a front runner, and I get to lead, and he just is so cool. He reminds me a little Game On Dude, because he can get there, take a breather, go again, take a breather. So much fun to ride. Doc Amster is really fun too. He's so fast. And he's really fast out of the gate. And I attribute that success from Wesley Ward. I think Wesley Ward had him as a younger horse. My God, those horses coming out of the gate fast.
On fire.
Yeah, like they're just, and they come in the gate, they're just like, whoa. And I have some new babies that are up and coming that I'm very excited about. I loved riding Winky Winky. I did a lot of work on that filly to win first time out. We did a lot of gate work, a lot of breezes.
So when you have a live one that's never run before, can you do me a favor? Can you text Shawn and I and let us know this one? Let me use your term, hot soup, right?
Yes. And I told my friend Matt, I'm like, Matt, I love this horse. He knew all about it. I go, how much did you bet? He goes, $25. I'm like, that's how much faith you have in me.
Yeah. Well, we'll do more than 25, Shawn and I, for sure.
Okay.
And then JW says, do you know what's wrong with the Gulfstream Park turf course?
Yeah, I think it just has gotten so chewed up, and probably, all the work that they kind of did with the Jumbotron. I don't know. I think they need to they want to make it like Tampa. They want to make it really good. And it's just really chewed up. So they do need to fix it. So it's unfortunate because, I love the grass, and I know a lot of fans love betting the grass. But I think it's going to be way better in the fall when it's all done. It's going to be great. Because I just think that grass also, too, it's not got a lot of roots, so it just like it doesn't really stick in the ground, and it kind of rots away, and it's really dry. It's like running on cardboard. It's not real grass.
No. So speaking of real grass, last time we talked to you, had said you hadn't got a chance to golf much. Are you getting out on the course at all?
No. But now we're going to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm going to make my golf days Wednesdays.
Ah, so you're going to go golfing. One of the guys that was on the show last week on Thursday, Eddie C. I don't know if you know him or not, but he lives on Durrell, and maybe you can head on over there and play around with him. He was a professional golfer, taught people how to swing and all that stuff. So maybe someone who we know that can help you get your game better. Eddie C.
Yeah.
Used to be on Pass the Wire.
He goes to Gulfstream a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll tell him to teach you some lessons to get you a little bit lower score. And then you also mentioned that you were doing some boxing. Are you still doing the boxing?
Yeah, I went today, and today for the first time I went in the ring and I sparred with a girl.
Oh no.
And it's actually Aaron Greider's daughter.
Uh-oh.
And she's 19. And I was like, okay, here we go. So I put the headgear on. I had the mouthpiece, but I didn't have my mouth guard because I didn't know I was going to be sparring today. So we went in and we were, bouncing around. And then she, like, I was a bit chicken to kind of hit her too much in the head. And she went pow right in my mouth. And I was like, wow, okay. So then, I don't know, there's a little bit of a switch that changed. And I was like, pow, like right at her. So we had a good sparring session. We went 3 rounds, and I was very proud of my fitness. And she got me like twice, and I think I got her a couple of times pretty good, but I do feel bad about it. But she wants to compete, so our trainer is using me to work with her. I do need to get a mouth guard because your teeth are pretty expensive. So, But I do like it. It's been really fun. It's fun to try and, duck away and get a couple of hits in. And I think she's going to be really good. She went to another place to go box, and she boxed with a young boy, and she got beat up. She lost. But I think what she learned from it was to really get in the ring and be calm, and like when you get hit, you got to come back from it and really, focus. Whereas me, when she punched me in the chin and hit me in the mouth, I got kind of pissed, so I kind of came back fast. Meanwhile, I gotta get there too. But it was great. I really enjoyed it, and I love my trainer Jeff. And it's so cool that Aaron Greider's daughter is just so. She's got grit. She's got the fight. It's cool.
So forget Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. That's the real belt of Miami.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll do the next time I spar when I get a little better. I'll take video for you guys and send it to you.
Oh, that'll be awesome. We'll break it. Here's Chantal winning the championship. What did you make of all that? Are you familiar with all that situation down there? That'd be big news in Miami, right? Between Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington, the 2 UFC guys fighting outside a bar. What was it, Poppy's Steakhouse? Have you ever been there?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh no, yeah, no. It was just some other big podcast, much bigger than ours. Apparently, put those 2 guys into contact, unbeknownst to Colby Covington, and Jorge Masvidal came and whacked them from behind out in the street.
No way.
Yeah.
How about the Oscars last night?
Oh yeah, I contend we had this last night, and we were talking about this. And I was saying it's 100% staged.
Yeah, it's staged.
Sean says he agrees with me. I can see most people online and the way the news is reporting it, they don't think it's staged. But hold on one second. I'm going to just go use your own words. You said when you got punched in the mouth, your temper turned on and you had to hit back. The last thing in the world you would do is put your hands behind your back and then go step on the X so you're in the perfect spot for the camera.
I don't know. It looks like there's some bad blood from the past. Between the 2 of them, and I don't know. That's crazy. Like,
well, also security. Nobody ever jumped up. Like, don't you think somebody should have acted and at least been there just in case things got out of hand?
I agree with you. I don't know. And then also, but Will Smith looked really sad after, like really upset about it.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's a lot more going on in Will Smith's life beyond that, and that's part of why, if it is authentic, that he freaked out.
Yeah,
because
I feel bad for both people. Like he was just trying to make a joke. It didn't go over well, and I think Will was just trying to protect his family, and just somehow he just triggered. Wow.
Well, he laughed at first. He was laughing, and then he got up. So that's the part to me that where I feel like when you can go from laughing to smacking that quick, there's something else going on that's not, it has nothing to do with the joke. I mean, the joke might have been the triggering event, but I still contend that it's staged, because I know that there's two things that I would never do. One, I've been, like you said, I've sparred, I've done it, the boxing and stuff, and my knee's not as bulky. I'm going to get back to it. But one thing you never do is you never hit a guy and then turn your back to him immediately, because 99% of the time something's coming back at you.
Right.
And then number two, if you're doing the hitting, you're getting hit. The one thing you don't do is put your hands behind your back, unless you're really Christian, and to give him the other cheek. But for the most part, the very minimum you're going to do is put your other hand up, because you don't know if another one is coming. So to me, just from having experience fighting, I know that A, I would never put my hands down. B, I would never turn my back on anybody. So both guys acted in a way that told me completely staged.
Maybe. Hang on 2 seconds.
Time to let the dog back in.
What?
Well, Shawn, you have any other questions, my man?
No, really. I mean, did you see this about the harness race that they're doing for charity? Gabe Pruitt from Papano and Pete Aiello?
I was going to bring something up about charity anyway, right? Robert says he thinks I'm spot on. I can tell you as a man, just as a man, I don't care if it's Mike Tyson hits me. I'm going to swing back. That's just the way it goes. I might be out cold 2 minutes later, but I'm swinging back.
If you swing at Mike Tyson, please take video of that as well.
Yeah. I think I
didn't say I would swing at him first. I said if he swung at me, I would swing back. It's a funny story. When I was in college, real quick, we used to live in this haunted house. And the lights didn't work at the top of the stairs. So we had to go at the bottom of the stairs. So you had to go to the top of the stairs. So I went up to the top of the stairs to flick the lights on, and my college roommate was waiting there to play a joke. And when I went to go flick on the lights, he gave me the boo in the dark, right? And instead of jumping, the first reaction was to swing, and I clocked him. And so that's why I'm pretty confident. Like I've been in these things before. So when I'm getting hit, I know that like the natural impulse, like you said, when you got hit, is not to go, "Ooh, what happened?" It's to go, "Oh, and then swing back." So in any case, enough fight talk on here. This is a horse racing show. Any big mounts that you're looking forward to?
Well, what am I looking forward to now? This next month with all the Ortiz family. I'm going to have a go away celebration. Bye. See ya. And looking forward to just this summer meet here and all these new horses that I've been getting on. I've done a lot of work this winter, and now you're going to see some great things. I'm very excited about the summer. This next 2 months is going to be awesome. So
going to be lights out.
Excited about that. I'm excited about my Fantac, clothing line that we dropped. And what else is going on? The interviews that I did. And then just life is good. Happy.
That's good. When you're happy, things go well, right? So here's the Chantal Sutherland clothing line. You can find that at Fantac. It's also on her Twitter feed at Jockey Chantal. So make sure you get over there and get that sweet looking stuff. I'm a little biased. I think the horse racing today stuff, I give it a little bit of an edge, but only a little bit, just a nose at the wire.
Yeah.
All right, Chantal, I don't think we have any more questions. You got Jamie Martinez says, thank you for all your racing and inspiring women. You are a rock star.
I love her. She's the best.
And then everybody's looking forward to Gulfstream Park without Ortiz brothers and Paco Lopez. Let some wins go somewhere. He's got the crying, laughing emoji on there, so he's not being serious.
Yeah. No, we like them a lot. We love to see them, but we love to watch them go.
Well, it opens up a few more wins for everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Do you know about this Monday charity race at Popano Park where Gabe Pruitt and then Gulfstream Pride Pete Aiello go off in a harness race one-on-one? Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, so they're going to do it Monday. Gabe Pruitt, the announcer at Popano, and Pete Aiello, the announcer at Gulfstream, is going to each have a – yeah.
I want to watch that.
So,
I don't know if I'm living under a rock because, like, you guys know everything's going on. I'm like, what? I don't know. All I've been watching on the news is Ukraine, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it's
yeah,
sad.
so that's this Monday?
Next Monday. Yep.
Next
So
one,
who's
we're going to watch? What time?
I have no idea. I will find out and let
me.
you know. Who are you picking? You got to pick Gulfstream Pride, right?
I got to pick my Gulfstream.
Okay.
I love that guy. He's the best. I love
Chariots of Fire, baby.
He's a great announcer.
You gotta check out his Facebook page and his Twitter. He's been putting some videos up of him working out and working with the horses and stuff. So
okay.
Is he bringing Cam Newton with him?
No.
You're familiar with Cam Newton or no?
No.
So he's a big fan of the Carolina Panthers, Pete Aiello. So if you want to buy him anything for Christmas as a gift, get him a Carolina Panthers thing. But he has a little bobblehead of Cam Newton up in the booth there where he calls the races.
Yeah.
So you know how Cam Newton always has a towel over his head and stuff. So when Cam Newton was no longer on the Carolina Panthers, he took it and he turned it around and put the towel over his head so Cam couldn't see the races. And then when Cam went back, he turned Cam back around to the races. So if you ever go up there, try to steal his Cam Newton thing.
Okay, I will.
Be pretty funny. All right, Chantal. Well, we appreciate you coming back on. It's always fun. Have a great evening, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah.
Good luck in the summer meet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you.
So, Shawn, you had mentioned that about charity, right? So one other thing we were going to talk about on the news today was his opportunity for everybody to help the jockeys now, right? So on the I think it's April the 10th, they're going to have the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund telethon on TVG. It's going to be on Fox Sports 2, NYR, and Fox Sports as well. So they're going to be raising money for the Disabled Jockeys Fund. So I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody at horseracingtoday.net on our audience. That's Saturday, right? Is the 10th? That's a Saturday, right? I don't know. I like Chantal. I'm aware of pop culture things, but I'm not aware of what day it is.
10th is a Sunday, apparently, because we have Jorge Delgado on the 11th, which is a Monday. So it should be a Sunday.
All right. So that's Sunday. Is it the 10th? Is it the 10th? Let me just make sure that I have the date right. Yes. Sunday, right there. Sunday, April 10th. Reading Comprehension, Rich, 101. But that Sunday, there's going to be a contest. So I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody in this community is if you play the races on that day, maybe I'll even put some pics out online. If we put them out there and you make some money, pledge to put 10% towards 10% of your winnings, right? 10% of your winnings towards the Disabled Jockeys Fund. These guys go out and girls go out there and they risk quite literally their lives at times. And definitely, like we've talked with just about every jockey, like driving a motorcycle, at some point you're going to go down. You just hope that when you go down, it's not one where you need to benefit from a fund like this. But as fans, this is our opportunity to give back. So that Sunday, and we'll remind everybody, April 10th, if you're at the track or you're betting on your TVG account or any of your accounts that you use, just take 10% of your winnings, donate it to the fund and help some folks out who have given you some entertainment and maybe a couple winning tickets along the way as well.
And as we've gotten to know them too, they're more than a name. They're great people. So, I mean, I seen it with Terry Houghton last year. I mean, you getting that text and stuff, it's scary stuff when you start getting to know these people personally. So, but speaking on that event too, there's some great people to talk to too when you call in. I don't have the list in front of me, but I know Mike Smith's there. I think Johnny V.
Oh,
right?
It says it's going to be Chris McCarron, Don Brumfield, Ramon Dominguez, Lafitte Pinkai, Sandy Hawley, Mike Maganalio, Shane Sellers, Donna Brothers, Steve Calthin, Mike Smith, John Velasquez, Julian Laperoux, Corey Lanier, Joe Bravo, and Tyler Gaffleon. Shawn, I have an idea. Why don't you call in and ask them all to come on our show?
I knew you were going to say that. What's funny about that is we've only had
almost all of them.
Mike Smith. We had Mike. No, we didn't have all of them. We had Mike Smith on, and we had Laperoux on. But a lot of those we have not had on. So, yeah.
So call in. On our show.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good trade-off, right? Yeah. All right, Shawn. Well, we've run pretty long today, almost an hour. Started a little late. We apologize for that. A little bit of technical difficulties catching up with Chantal, as always. We appreciate when she comes on, as all guests. Phenomenal. Would have been nice if she had a little horse racing today blew on, but that's okay. There's only one person as cool as Willie Martinez, and we'll just leave it at that.
There you go. And that other person's Terry, right? In the number 3.
Terry? Yeah, well, Terry's on the show. There's no coolness in being on the show as a regular, Shawn.
And tomorrow, it's that day again. It's Wednesday, and it's the last day of the week of Horse Center. But we have, speaking of female jockeys up and coming,
superstar in the making.
Yeah, she is tearing it apart at Will Rogers. So
I spoke over you. Who's coming on?
Kylie Jordan.
Jordan, yes.
Yeah, she's tearing it up at Will Rogers right now. So we'll get to know her and just hope she keeps winning races and keeps growing, and she'll be doing big things.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow, Terry and I hope to continue to do big things. We got off to a good start on Monday, Turf Paradise. We got some winners today again at Philadelphia or Parks Racetrack. We'll look to get some more winners tomorrow when Terry and I go down to Florida. Gulfstream's not running tomorrow, so we're going to do Tampa Bay Downs. And then on Thursday, it looks like we're going to do Oaklawn, but we're going to do one race at Gulfstream Park on Thursday as well. And then on Friday, Tom and I are going to go to Leopardstown, I think, in Ireland to cover a little bit of Irish racing. So in that 6 degrees of separation, I know I've sent this out to Shawn. Shawn, I know, Terry, you're as cool as they come, baby. You're like the other side of the pillow. You're so cool. The Irish racing, I've told Shawn to do this in the 6 degrees of separation. Anybody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows Conor McGregor. Apparently, Conor, the UFC fighter, loves himself some horse racing. Let's see what we can do to get Conor on the show, and he can pitch all of his products, but we could talk about horses as well.
I did message him, but I'm one of a million people that messaged him. So until he finds that message, it's going to be, not so good. Also, how many people liked it? And you want to thank everybody for liking.
Yes, indeed. I want to say thank you to Jimmy Little, Robert Bryan, Terry T.D. Houghton, Mike Watkins, and John Caravu for giving us a thumbs up and a smiley face over there on Facebook. If you like what you saw too, please do like they did. Be cool like they are and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already, and then hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so when we go live, you're notified. And always thumbs up help us improve those algorithms. So we appreciate that. The higher up the algorithms we go, the more people to find us, maybe one of these days we might make a nickel from YouTube, and we won't have to bother you about buying a Horse Racing Today shirt.
That's the other thing. You say 6 degrees of separation. Anybody ever interested in sponsoring or anything, or if you know of anybody, just have them reach out to us.
Yeah, like if you're a hot dog representative, I mean, that would be fantastic to represent our hot dog pick 4 for Terry and I. Hopefully we win a few more so we can eat a few more hot dogs.
Right at lunchtime too. So
we can go on the Terry diet, right? We eat hot dogs. Terry's a prime rib guy. All right, Shawn. So that takes us wire to wire on this Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow on Hump Day. Shawn's saddest day of the week, the last day of Horse Center. But we'll be back on Thursday for the Players Edge podcast with the John Ortiz Barn talking about the Arkansas Derby. So that should be a great show as well.
Yeah, and he has 3 horses in, so I'm sure we'll probably cover those 3 races in the Derby as well.
Mm-hmm, yeah, absolutely, 100% for sure. All right, Shawn, you have a fantastic Tuesday night. We'll see everybody tomorrow, Terry and I, at 12 noon Eastern, hoping to keep that hot streak alive at Tampa Bay Downs. Until then, everybody, like always, I guess we'll steal a little bit from Terry. We hope your Tuesday night ends up in our good friend Jay Marco's
winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a great night.